Today we are going to do somewhat of a weird build, but as it is for weird builds, it's not so much about the components used and a lot more about the case actually used. There are examples of this which are just crazy. You have pyramids, you have transformers, you have whatever the hell this is, but you see the point. It's the case that does the deal. And today we are going to use somewhat of a weird case, a case that hasn't been received all too well around the industry, which, yeah, probably the other ones were right, but we have a real use case for the case once we are done with this build. But I want just to try how it is to build inside of this case, which is a weird one, and we are going to get to that. But for the components that we are going to use today, we are going to go for the Zotac Amp Extreme 4090 because it's the fattest card that I have, and inside the case that we are going to use we have all the space that is available to us in this room. For the platform it's going to be Intel. We are going Intel 13700K accompanied by some Kingston Fury DDR5 and a 970 Evo Pro, and all of this is going to be snapped into the ASRock Z790 Steel Legend. Why Steel Legend? Because this is silver, this is kind of silver, and this works. For the rest of the build, I wanted to try something different. So we are going to slap in the Alpha Cool Core Ocean T38 360mm AIO. Now, if you have seen the review, you should know that it is really bad. It's really not a good one. Even for the price, it's not a good one. However, I'm 99% sure that this is about the fans and less about the radiator and the pump and the cold plate and so on. Therefore, I took a bunch of Noctua NFA12X25s, I added that rubber gasket for better radiator performance, and we have 3 of them which are going to be slapped on top of the AIO. Yes. And we have 2 more of them, whereas I believe that we had 3. And we have 2 which are going somewhere else, and yeah, I really believed I had 3. All of these components here need to go into this very heavy box. Oh fuck, this is really heavy. This here is the Cooler Master Masterframe 700, and I'm really glad that I remembered the name because it's not written on this side of the box. Now, if you are wondering why it has those fragile stickers all over the place, as far as I was informed, this is like an older unit which was already built into something at some point, and I really need this case, and they did not have like a new one, so they gave me the one used that they had lying in some warehouse. But still, I'm very glad that I at least got something. Now, I am perfectly aware about the reception of this case and how it was seen and how useful it is and all of that. I do know all about it. However, I have a very special use case for it, which is not going to be revealed this time around. But, oh no, it is... How much sticker did they put on this? And yes, a M.2 drive is a perfect knife replacement, I swear to God. Ooh, shiny. Now, you can say whatever you want about the case, but the presentation is... That's a good job right there. Can I take this out? Yes, I can. Wow, these are individual levels. Now I just need a way bigger desk. Please don't fall. Oh no, these are again levels. Oh my god, how many levels are there? Where should I put this? Next level. Oh, those are the wings. Yeah, I just take this one out like this. Something that looks like power supply brackets, but 2 for some reason. Maybe for dual systems, who knows. This was a lot more than I initially believed. Yeah, this is the one that I need to be really careful around because it's the glass. And ooh, it still has the protective film on the glass. Oh yeah! I don't know who had this one before, but thank you for that. So I don't know who had this case before me. I assume that because they told me it's like an older unit lying somewhere that it was used already. And I think I now know why it's not used anymore. Because the start button is not clicking back. Which is an issue. Maybe I can repair that later on, but anyway, whoever got the case left it in a pretty okay state. I expected it to be broken a lot more than it actually is. As you can see, all of this is a lot less a regular build and resembles a lot more like an adult version of Lego, which I am a big fan of. And we are going to have a lot of fun with all of this. However, to be honest, they overpacked the crap out of this. Like, there are individual pieces for everything. You have that styrofoam, and then you have one plate in the styrofoam, and then you have another styrofoam for another single piece. And let's be honest, they could have slapped half of this onto just the same styrofoam, who cares? So for today it's going to be a very special type of design for a build. However, we are going to stick to somewhat normal components. No soft tube loop, no custom thing, no, everything regular out of the box. For a Monday, that's a good idea. So in the box we have this enormous manual where for 99% of cases, you don't really need a manual if you build a PC more than once in your life. However, for this one, it might be a good idea. Just already now, one comment about all of this. Cooler Master could have like marked where the beginning is. Like, there is no beginning in all of this. This does look like the beginning, but I'm just guessing. This behemoth, and we need the what looks like backplate. And this does look like a backplate. No! The bag of screws was open. Okay, half an hour of search and a temper tantrum later, we can continue building whatever we are about to build. Now again, I have the big issue of not having enough space on my desk, which is incredible because my desk is kind of huge. But okay, Cooler Master overdid themselves on this one. Yeah, just... but not on the GPU. Yeah, this looks fine. Sorry for the sudden camera movement, but otherwise nobody would have been able to see whatever I'm about to do here. This is supposed to go on the back side, and this is supposed to go here, and then it needs to go like this. Yes, this does make sense. Does it make sense? Yes, it does make sense. With 2 screws. This looks like it makes sense. Now, one thing that the person who had this case before me didn't do is install all of these. And I'm not so sure that he was supposed to do it, but according to the manual, you just need to screw in 3 screws per like side, and I need to put in 6, so I'm just guessing that he forgot to put it back. Now the last part that I need to do before, somewhat like this, before we finish this up, is actually put in the foot, but not the top one, because if I put in the top one, I won't be able to put in the glass. Which I won't do anyway, because the glass is just stupid, but okay. I wanted to vertically mount the GPU, however I'm It seems like I'm just too stupid to figure out how to do it based on the manual, so I just won't. This would be like the regular mounting, and if I switch it up, it would be like this. However, this just wouldn't go onto anything. No. Oh, okay, there is like a holder kit from Cooler Master sold separately to do that. So yeah, this is not an option for today. Unfortunate. I really would have loved to do that, but I don't have it. Okay, as far as I can tell, the case is somewhat ready to be used. Now for the PSU, you actually have a secondary bracket that you can or cannot use, which is actually for the VESA mounting, I don't know how you say it in English, which is for the wall mounting. And in that case, you are supposed to put the power supply onto the back of one of the wings. I'm guessing you can always do it. I mean, who is stopping you? It's your case. But I'm not using VESA mounting, and I would like to have the maximum weight of the whole thing in the bottom. So I'm certainly not going to do that. Now just let's reverse the whole damn thing, because it's heavy as hell. And it looks like we are done. So far so good. Half the case is actually already ready, which is good. I'm quite happy how quickly this goes. And if you tell me that I need to... Okay, no. So the manual says that you should install the power supply to the bracket before mounting down the bracket. And I thought, screw you, I'm doing what I want. And yeah, the problem is that the last screw, the bottom right one, cannot be reached due to the hinge of the wing. So I guess the power supply will need to be kept by 3 screws. Now on to the forbidden AIO, the Arctic Liquid Freezer sized 360 that was outperformed by basically everything. It's just uncanny how bad this thing was, given how thick it is. Blip, blip, blip. Now my big hopes for today is that the AIO is actually not that bad, and that this performs somewhat okay. So I won't be doing any performance comparisons today because it doesn't make a lot of sense to do it in here. It's an open frame case. What the hell am I exactly measuring? So that's just not going to happen. However, for me, it's already a win if I can ramp up firmark and the CPU will not be thermal throttling instantly. That's already good. And if at the same time the system is not unbearably loud. Okay, now the most annoying thing about this AIO as a whole, mounting it down. This is a open test bench case with, or it is a showcase, or a test bench if you want to use that mode, a test bench case that doesn't come with a hole in the back big enough to install an LGA 1700 backplate without removing the motherboard. This has to be the stupidest thing I have ever heard. Oh my god, who does that? I really wouldn't call something a test bench if you cannot test things on it without removing half of it. Who thought that was good? Okay, now it's time to put it back on its back, because otherwise I will never be able to mount down this thing. This is too short. Who designs a 360 AIO when not even this installation method works. Who does that? Okay, at this point I need to go tubes up anyway, so I just don't see a point in putting it onto the right side, because that was my initial idea just for bottom tube purposes, but if I can't do it, then I can also mount the whole thing here and free up the AIO to some degree. Okay, with that, it's time for the incredibly well-designed mounting that AlphaCool imagined for this year. First the spring, then the 2mm washer. Who came up with this? Oh, this is getting heavier and heavier every goddamn second. Beautiful. It's beautiful. It's weird, but it's it's just weird. Before we finish the build and we talk about how it was building in it, and believe me, it was a weird experience, I wanted to find out if I can somehow repair this start button, because it clicked exactly once when I opened it up, and since then it's basically pressed in. I have no clue what happened here, and I would really want to find out. So let's open it up and hope that it's just something that was jammed in there, and maybe we can remove it. Oh, I think I know. There is a little piece of plastic that just broke off. I don't know if you can see this. Huh. Okay, now where that works, I should be able to install this wherever this needs to be installed. Okay, now the case is theoretically finally all assembled. So now it's time for the final piece of the puzzle, the GPU. This is such a giant boy, it's so insane. And now, before I finish the build and tidy things up and do a bunch of B-roll shots, and then we will talk about how my experience was. I don't know if you maybe already have like a little doubt that it's not going to be an amazing opinion. However, there is one piece that is still left to be installed, and it's this piece of glass, which, why? Great. It bends. Oh my god. But on that note, there is nothing forcing you to use this. You can also just not use it. As will I. Because I'm not prepared to break my only 4090 for the sake of a single video. Why did they even bother? This looks just as good and probably saves like 10 bucks, 15 bucks for the piece of glass, plus shipping, plus weight, plus here, plus there. This is perfectly fine. But okay, let me tidy this up, maybe do whatever I'm able to do in cable management, and then we will have a look at the case. This is a weird case. It is weird and big enough so that I have to move to the other side of my table just so that you can see it at the same time, which, okay, I guess. So yeah, let's talk a bit about the case. Generally, the build went fine, it really did. And I have to say, quality-wise, the case is really, really good. Like the thickness of the metal used, it is quite well made, and the build process of the case for now went very, very fine. It was a bit complicated for the first time, but consulting the manual and everything is okay. However, I believe Cooler Master could have worked a bit better on that. But once that was done, it was building time, and for building it, yeah, I mean, it's an open case. There just isn't much to talk about. You have a lot of space, you can do whatever you want, except for the cable management, that is just a mess. But I don't want to talk too much about it, because the review is not written yet, the review is not done yet, and I will concentrate on that like tomorrow. For which I will also use this build and the build that comes after that, but the case is weird, that's pretty much all I can say. Because it's an open case design, it's basically benchmarking time for components, so it just doesn't make any sense to look at the temperature. I did, and running Thermark 4K 8X MSAA at full blast and CPU burn-off from Thermark at the same time, we had about 200 watts on the 13700K, and doing that we ran at 84 degrees C on the package, which is it's fine for 200 watts. Given that the AIO is garbage, the Nokia fans did help a lot here. For the GPU, we were running at a very, very cold 49 degrees C, which is incredible, to be honest. That's really freaking cold, so very good job there. But again, open case design, I mean, close it up and I can guarantee you that GPU will spike at least 20 degrees C. So yeah, this build is amazingly cool, but yeah, I don't know what Cooler Master could have done wrong to make it not so amazingly cool. Other than that, I won't keep talking, because I want to keep all the points for the case review itself, because there is a lot to be said there. I think it's going to be out at the point where this video is out, so if you want to continue watching, have a look at that one. I hope it's going to be interesting, though I have not written the script yet. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.